All right, everybody. This will be a warning to all politicians running for president 2024, part 148B. I believe that's what I'm up to. Um, so, leaving off or catching up to where I left off, or taking off where I left off. Sorry, it's been a long day. With the immigration and the wages and these government programs, and now you hear Como talking about they got to open up and all this, and then they're gonna have he's talking about we're gonna get jobs created, this and that. Well, no doubt the jobs created are going to be by all the people who supported all their shenanigans all year long. The favors are going to be handed out. And the tax breaks, like, AOC was against giving, Amazon tax break to create them jobs there in the city. But you'll see it'll be handed out now to people who are playing ball with them. And also there'll be jobs that are subsidized. And the reason all that'll be, and like Joe Biden's green jobs and all this, those will be subsidized employment, which the people at the top will no doubtedly rake in the most, but that stuff will be a way of keeping you on the hook. Because if any politician ever runs against them saying, hey, all this stuff is subsidized, this is just payola for their cohorts in crime, etc., like that, and tries to get rid of them, well, people aren't going to vote for somebody that's going to get rid of their jobs. You see how all that works? It's all a cabal, man. It's all, ask anybody from the Soviet Union, any communist countries, dictatorships and stuff on how it works. And you got Antifa, oh, we're against fascism and all this. What do you call what's going on with the Democratic Party and all these companies? Especially the big tech and the social media stuff. What do you call that? Where the corporations are going to be lockstep with all these politicians. And I guarantee you, part of the payola for them, right, when Trump did tax breaks and everything, oh my God, he gave tax breaks to these corporations and stuff and everything. Well, you wait and see the tax breaks they get now for sticking with the Democrat Party, for jumping on the bandwagon. You watch and see the favors they get now. You think the news media that they own is going to report on the breaks that they're going to get and make it look bad? Or make these politicians, show these politicians how they are speaking out of both sides of their mouths? Wait and see. And same thing with all those other programs, welfare, all that stuff is to keep you on the hook. It ain't helping nobody. They don't ever give you enough to help you, do they? Here's a little bit here, here's a little bit. Stay on the hook. Stay on the hook. Stay on the hook. And anybody who says, hey, well, we need to do this and fix this problem. We can't go on like this. We need some real jobs with real economic impact and stuff like that. And we're going to get rid of that, welfare and stuff. Then you have Joe Biden come along. Oh, they're going to put you back in chains. Trump's the racist? What kind of man says something like that? What kind of man says, you ain't black if you don't vote for me? You know, what kind of man like Bernie Sanders, hey, we're going to legalize weed the first day and give money to people in the hood so they can sell weed in the hood? You tell me that shit ain't racist. Isn't AOC one of his flunkies, devotees, or trainees, whatever? Maybe that's why she's against Pelosi. Maybe Bernie wants Speaker of the House or something. And then with the immigration thing, like I was trying to make, show with the agriculture. You or I, would have no problem if they paid them migrants in California and other places who picked the tomatoes and lettuce and all that, paid them more per bushel, and we paid an extra nickel or dime per tomato at the grocery store. However, when you multiply that on a grand scale, there's competitors selling for less out of Mexico, sooner or later they're going to get the market share from the buyers in this country, and either they'll just mark up the stuff coming from Mexico to equal the price of the U.S. stuff, and they'll just pocket more money, or it'll eventually put the growers in the U.S. out of business because they can't compete with the stuff coming out of Mexico. And so if that was the case, and you were going to have all these people put out of agriculture in the U.S., what would the cry be then? To keep the migrants and everything working here. It probably wouldn't, because they really don't care, and they would probably just dole out more welfare and shit like that to keep everything going their way. But if they didn't have that option, what would it be then? Hey, we got to put tariffs on the stuff coming up from Mexico, this produce and stuff. It's putting everybody out of business up here. But they probably want it to go that way eventually anyhow. So, but, wait a minute. Trump said to put tariffs on the cheap steel and stuff coming into the country because it was putting people out of work here. But he was wrong for that. But, what else are you going to do? You're going to let all the agriculture and all the migrants and everything who come up here to work, what are they going to do? Go back to Mexico and pick vegetables there cheaper than what they were doing here? That they're not going to do that, so they're going to want welfare or something else. Free jobs training, something. See, these people, they just compound the problem, but they like it that way, because then you're on the hook. Then you're on the hook. Then anyone who says, nah, that ain't the right way to do that, you need to do this or whatever, because you're just taxing the hell out of people here, and you're ruining business, and you're putting people on a life of poverty, on a path of poverty with welfare. It'd be a lot better if you just straighten the shit out. It's like this. Oh, these people they're refugees. They're seeking asylum because of the drug cartels and this and that and everything, and because everything's so shitty down in Mexico and where they come from. They're in fear for their lives. Well, let's tell Mexico and those other countries to get on the ball. Don't you think that'd be the solution? There ain't no minimum wage or any benefits and shit down in Mexico. They like the situation. They don't have to take care of their people. They tell their people, come on, go on up to America, work up there, because they know a lot of them are going to send their money back to family in Mexico. That helps the Mexican economy. You know, some people are against all globalization if it's done free and fair trade. You know, if they stop the games with the money exchange, the currency exchange rates, you know, stop using you know, people in countries as slave labor. You know, you hear LeBron talking about, oh, you know, the NBA owners are like the plantation owners, this and that, and you hear shit, you know, capitalism is like slavery, all this and everything. Gee, man, you're making a shitload of money from capitalism with them making those Nike sneakers through slave labor and then selling them for what? I don't know, what's his shoes going for, 100, 200 bucks? Unless they come out with like collector's edition and then it goes sky high and then they resell them on eBay and all that shit. You's one hell of a plantation owner there, LeBron, then. You is one hell of a plantation owner because you's richer than any of them ever fucking was. You know, people don't think, they watch the news or whatever, watch stuff on YouTube in 5 minutes here. They don't think. They don't, you know, you got to ask yourself, how's everything work? How's it actually work? What's the, you know, like recycling. In some cases it might work, etc. John Stossel has a piece. He used to be on ABC, an investigative reporter and stuff. Now he does independent stuff. And he does a bit about, you know, recycling and stuff like that. And, you know, that what a fiasco it's been in most places they put it in. It actually creates more greenhouse gases and stuff because it was at San Diego or LA. You know, they had to have all the special garbage cans, which are petroleum based, they're plastic. Then you had to have all the garbage extra trucks. You know, so there's a bunch of fossil fuels being used to make the trucks, and then you got, you know, they all got tires, petroleum products and tires, petroleum products in the truck, and then they're using, well, they might be using natural gas, but either way, it's still putting pollution in the air. You know, so that's why I say, you know, with all the stuff about windmills and solar and all this, you got to look through the whole, you got to look at the big picture, go down the whole chain. You know, hey, you want to get off fossil fuels? Great. What about all the plastics and stuff that we get from that? Now, if it isn't for gasoline and oil and stuff like that, which provides, you know, the refineries and stuff like that with most of their revenue, how high is the price of all the other petroleum products, plastics, etc., like that? How high is the price of all that stuff going to go? So like I say, there's no free lunch. Everything's connected. There's cause and effect. You know, it's just people don't think. There's a trade-off for everything. We don't live in a perfect world. There's always going to be some kind of cost for everything. You know, but really, you got to have to look at the big picture and look at why do these people want all these social programs? Why do they want people on welfare? Why do they want subsidized industries? Why do they, you know, all these things? So they have control over you. Because if you try and get rid of them, you're going to be targeted, just like they did in the Soviet Union and everything else. You either went along with the party, or you're out in the street or in the gulag or whatever. And right now, look at these corporations lining up with the Democratic Party, and they're pulling people off social, stifling people's free speech, this and that. They're going to boycott you and this and that. You get that fucking Nazi Rick Wilson saying he's going to hunt people down who supported Trump, etc. like this. If you can't see what's going on, even if you're a Democrat, there's something wrong with you. You were so apathetic, or you got your head so far in the sand or up your ass that you don't want to realize what's going on. You're just a person that you don't want to take responsibility for yourself or anything. You want them to hand you everything and tell you how to live your life. Everything. You look at how everything's controlled in China, North Korea, the old Soviet Union. I mean, they control everything. Cuba, some countries in South America. Hey, the left. You're the left, right? Right, left, right. Anti-war and all that. You ain't gonna have no bands be able to sing anything about anything going on in society when they get this stuff going. And the right played the same game. Look what happened to Dixie Chicks when they said about, Bush and the invasion of Iraq. So the right can't claim they're clean on this either, and don't suppress people. But look here, that there was countries that didn't want to let the Rolling Stones in. And one of them, Cuba, did not want to let the Rolling Stones in. Because they were afraid. Even though there's plenty of Rolling Stones fans there and everything, and with the internet and all that, being able to watch their stuff and things like that. But, there's countries that, would ban all of their music. But, the biggest thing they were afraid of is people getting together. And then what if those people decided, hey, you know what? I'm tired of having to submit to these government people who don't live by the same rules we have to, who go anywhere and do whatever the hell they want, and then tell us we can't listen to the Rolling Stones. So, I don't know what all you tweakers in your hair buns and stuff are thinking, but you're not thinking really clear, because you're lining up with the people that are going to start telling you, you get out of line and you're not going to have that job. I'm not talking about, you commit a criminal offense. I'm talking you make a statement or something, or speak out, or run for office against them because you start to see the bullshit. I'm telling you, you look at anywhere around the world. You like that welfare? Guess what? They got you on the hook. They got you on the hook. They want to get more people on the hook. You know why? Because it's control. Because if they give it, they can take it away and not give you an alternative. Do you understand that? They can restrict everything to where it's just, hey, the people on their side, the corporations on their side, which is fascism. You won't have no independent corporations out there that aren't towing their line. So it's not like they can get you fired from one job and you can go down the street and go to another job, because that other corporation's going to be towing their line too. You understand that? The more power you give to the government, the more they're going to exercise that control over you. And you hook them up with the corporations and everything. Hey, unless you said something outrageous like, you're going to kill people or anything like, you never had to worry about blowing off steam about this or that or voicing your opinion on anything in this country from your employer. You never. What you did on your own time is your own time. Your boss didn't give a shit what the hell you were saying or doing. Nobody ever asked what political party you're with or anything, or what you support, or gave a damn if you supported one over the other. It's your right. Try and point to where people were fired because they supported Obama before he got elected, and then when he got elected, where corporations or businesses, private businesses said, "Oh, you support Obama, we're going to fire you." But that's what they're doing now. This moron Rick Wilson and others say they're going to hunt down people who supported Trump, and that's what they're going to try and make in the future. If you don't toe the line, you're not going to have the freedom to speak your mind because they're going to make you afraid to speak your mind because you might be out of a fucking job and out on the corner. Because you won't be able to, just go get another job. Because they're going to make people afraid. Hey, if you hire these people who are speaking, we're going to make it hard for you too. We'll boycott you. We'll subsidize your competitor. Put you out of business. There'll be no more free enterprise. Do you understand that? There'll be no more entrepreneurship and free enterprise or nothing. It'll just be whatever the corporations and the politicians decide can happen, will happen. And that'll be it. You're putting yourself under their thumb of totalitarianism and tyranny. I know there's a lot, yeah, I don't give a shit as long as I get my check. Don't matter to me. I'm selling dope anyway. Fuck y'all. Ain't nothing I can do about it. Yeah, there is. You can stop voting for those assholes. I'll tell you that. Before they end up taking elections away altogether. You hear how they're for everybody's right to vote. But they just fixed an election. They're for everybody's right to vote and voters' rights and this and that. And you can't have voter ID because that'll hurt their people's right to vote and all this and everything. Well, you wait and see. When they get enough power, you're not going to be able to vote for anybody. They just won't have elections. They'll just declare themselves, the Congress will just declare themselves the electoral body, and they'll pick a quote-unquote president. Be like the Politburo or like the way they pick the Pope. It's just the bishops get to pick the Pope. They pick from among themselves. Won't be the people picking anybody. You will not be able to vote for anybody anymore. They will just elect and nominate themselves. You understand that? You ain't gonna have a say shit anymore. And you notice how they're always talking about giving away, you're going to do this free and make this free and that free. How about this? Why don't they make Congress free? Let them all give up their salaries. All of them. That should be free. That's what I think. I think our political leaders should be free. They shouldn't be paid. How about that? Trump didn't take a salary. Why don't all these assholes donate their salaries? They've already made themselves rich by taking contributions and lobbyist money and shit. Why don't they all just donate their salaries to charity or put it into building schools in these rundown, neighborhoods and stuff? What have you? Why don't they do that? Why don't they say, you know what? Here's that government credit card, and that pension I got's really overboard. We're gonna get rid of that. Keep your government pension, all this stuff. We're not gonna take it anymore. We're not gonna take any of those benefits or any of the high dollar pay or the government credit cards, free travel, and all that shit. We're not gonna take any of that. We want the people to have a free government. You don't ever hear them talk about doing that for free, do you? Nope. I'm telling you, you gotta be down the middle. You gotta watch both sides, because they're both full of shit, and it's all about them staying in power. No matter what they do, and dividing the people. And not just dividing them here, dividing them around the world. Because when they take big money from people overseas and stuff and get involved, and try and regime change or what have you, to benefit one group or another group, they just get us in these wars. And if they can't outright get us into a war because there really ain't actually a reason to go to war, like some madman like Hitler or something, that's when they lie and they do all their bullshit. Their false flag bullshit. Like I said, in the Quran it says, on Judgment Day, man will find out how much they've been deceived into war. And that's not just going to be Americans. That's going to be people all over the place have been deceived by their people, so that the political leaders and the industries and stuff like that can get richer and have more power. Expansion. Either into markets or, for resources coming out of the ground there, what have you. To set up governments where you can have trade with and everything, but you're just using their population as slave labor. He made it out. These parking spots are pretty tight, so. But yeah, so there's something you can fix. Pennsylvania, you fixed an election, you can't fix a rest area where there's ample room to park trucks. So, I'm just telling y'all, you got to beware. You got to think things through, and you got to understand. The more they give to you is the more they can take away. And they can keep you from being prepared, and like I said, they're just going to give you enough where you're dependent on them. And you have to go back to them, and you rely on whatever they have in place. That way, there's no way for you to leave it. You understand? Like I said, it's like an abusive relationship between a man and well, it could be either way now, I guess, where the man's dependent on the woman. But most cases, the woman's dependent on the man. He's got her in an abusive relationship. There's nothing she can do. She feels trapped. She can't get out of it. That's what they're going to do to you, because they're never going to let you achieve enough on your own while you're in all their government programs and stuff and everything, to where you can get off of it. And if you ever step out of line, you're going to be in such a position that they say, well, we'll take that shit away from you. And then you're going to be in fear because you need them. You need it from them their money and their security. You need it from them. And so you're going to stay. Just like that woman in that abusive relationship, she's going to stay. She's got nowhere else to go. You're going to stay hooked to these people and be afraid to leave, to go on your own. And they're going to make sure that you have nothing to be able to leave with. You got to think about that. I'm serious. I'm telling you. That's the way it works around the world. That's world history. Look, ask people from Russia and these countries what it was like under the Soviet Union and stuff. Nobody could do anything without their permission. And if you questioned anything or like that, and that's it. You lost everything. So, hope that explains more of the last one and gives you some food for thought. Wish you all the best out there. Start thinking on your own. Wish you the best. God bless. Adios.